Hey everybody, it's Johanna here. We are going to be doing the weekly weather, um, the weekly astrology forecast. I always think of weekly weather because my mentor, Anne Ortley, does the weekly weather on her podcast. So we are just looking at the weekly forecast for the astrology of the week of, today is the 19th of March. So the weekly weather, oh my gosh, the weekly forecast all the way until the 25th of next week. And I was, yes, I'm sick again. I was not going to do the forecast yesterday. I had like no voice. So I did jump on a little bit early. If you are here, say hi. If you're here live, say hi. I did jump on a little bit early just because my voice had like a moment of not being terrible. So I am here a few minutes early. But yeah, I mean, Mercury just went into Aries a few days ago or yesterday, so I figure I might as well just use that Aries energy to jump the gun and seize the moment, right? Because that's what Aries is about, is carpe diem, and seizing, yeah, just initiating that energy. So here we are with the forecast, and it is going to be a huge week, which is why I decided to go ahead and do the forecast, even though my voice sounds like Voldemort. Um, I This is just too big of a week to not talk about it, just because one of the major shifts of the year is happening this week, which is Pluto is going into Aquarius. And a lot of people were like, wait a minute, when they saw that Pluto was not going to stay in Aquarius, they were like, wait. My boss was like, wait a minute, you said that Pluto is going into Aquarius. And I'm like, yeah, but it's only going to show like a little preview of Pluto in Aquarius, because it is going to retrograde back into Capricorn, and that will happen on June 11th. So from, let's see, the date of the Pluto ingress, which in astrology means entrance or into the next sign, into a sign. So the Pluto ingress to Aquarius happens on Thursday this week. So starting Thursday, which is what, the 23rd, I think? Thursday the 23rd, all the way until June 11th, we're going to have a preview of what Pluto in Aquarius is going to be like for the next 20 years before it retrogrades. So people are like, "Oh no, I want to be done with Pluto in Capricorn." Well, you are. We're just in the final act, the final like releasing phases of Pluto and Capricorn. It's never going to go further than, I think, 29. I don't know if it's even going to get to 28 degrees. It's just going to get back to that final degree in Capricorn for a little while, because Pluto just moves so slowly. It's just taken so long for it to get through that sign that we're not going to have to, the retrograde isn't going to take us into the depths and bowels of Capricorn again. So don't worry, we've gone past that. We're never going to go back to what it was like 2 or 3 years ago when Pluto was just right in the thick of it, of Capricorn. But it is interesting to see that Pluto and Capricorn, we have finally come full circle to the same type of events that it started Pluto and Capricorn with, which was 2008, with the financial crisis, the banks failing. Just recently, we had another instance of the banks failing. So it's very interesting to see that theme come full circle. So yeah, we might see that continue, as we have this sort of break, Pluto into Aquarius, where we finally get to see like a peek into the future for the next few months. And then, for the rest of the summer, fall, we're going to see maybe more financial instability, maybe more banks coming up with issues, structures, having to be revisited. I mean, that's that final degree of Capricorn. Any planet at a final degree, 29 degrees, is going to be very volatile, very not very unstable, ready to go, not wanting to be there, kind of like that breaking point type energy. So for those of you who are like, oh, I want to be done with Pluto and Aquarius, don't worry, we are done with it. We're just it's a long process of releasing. I was thinking of an analogy I could talk about with Pluto and Aquarius, or Pluto and Capricorn, or like this transition of longer moving planets, or the slower moving outer planets. It just takes such a long time for them to move out of signs that when they retrograde back in, it's like, oh, it feels like you're getting pulled by waves or the tide back and forth. So I was thinking about a good analogy being like surfing, because when you're trying to paddle out into the waves, I know this is weird because I live in New Mexico and there's no ocean here, but I did grow up on the coast at some point in my life and did surf. But so surfing, like, you are paddling out on your board. You're trying to wait for a break in the waves so you can get over them, so you don't, get pushed back to shore, so the waves aren't consistently pushing you back. But it is like that constant movement of the ocean. You're moving with the current. So you're paddling, 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 paddling. You get past the wave. Then, the tide starts coming in, or the waves start breaking, and then you're getting pushed back a little bit. So, and it's the same with swimming, right? If you're swimming in the ocean, you're swimming out towards the waves, you're ducking under the waves. It's slowly pushing you back, but then you keep going and going and going. So it's like that tidal push and pull of this energy of the transition between the signs, especially with the outer planets that move so slowly. So we are in the process of moving forward, right? We're still moving forward. We're still paddling towards Pluto and Aquarius. We're testing out the waters, really. So it's going to happen this week, and it'll be really interesting to see that on Thursday to see what the ingress is going to look like. Now, some astrologers look just at they look at the chart of the actual ingress and what does it look like. What type of environment is going to be like welcoming that planet into the new sign? So that's going to be very interesting because what else happens this week? Well, we start Aries season. So Pisces season is we only have a few more days. Technically tomorrow, right? So today is the last day of Pisces season. So cry your sad tears for Pisces season. It's all gone. All of the hot, hot showers and baths and luxury and hibernating and wistfully thinking of dreamy times is gone. That's it. We're done with it. And now it's time for Aries season, which is the biggest dramatic shift as far as the sun moving into signs, in my opinion, is Aries, is this transition between Pisces and Aries. It is the final sign of the zodiac into the first sign of the zodiac. So that's why when we look at the start of Aries season in the tropical zodiac, sorry, when the start of Aries season happens, which is always in alignment with the spring equinox in the tropical zodiac, that is the astrological new year. It's the time of rebirth. It's the time of new starts, new beginnings. I mean, that spark of Aries is so powerful because it's like starting the engine. It's the combustion that starts the engine to move or to turn on for the entire next 12 months. So it has to be a really strong fire. It has to be a really strong energy to get that spark going. And so that's why it feels like kind of a violent shift between this quiet, dreamy, releasing place to like, getting shocked into the new cycle. So here we go, Aries season. And I'm trying to embrace it this year and not be so wham about it because, it's no like secret that I just don't like Aries season. It's just always really chaotic and too much reality, too much, too much for a Pisces like me. And I do have an Aries moon even. So, um, anyway, this year I'm trying to embrace it more. So I'm very excited that we are having our new moon circle this week. The new moon, we have the sun moving into Aries on Monday. Then the moon is moving into Aries and having the conjunction, which means it's a new moon on Tuesday. So Tuesday, we're going to be having a new moon circle. So if you are part of my Orbit membership, you have already been added to that. You're automatically in. You've got the Zoom information. If you would like to join us, it's a free circle. The Orbit members get some special perks because since it's going to be technically the astrological new year, I wanted to have some sort of like a party theme, and it would sort of embrace that Aries energy instead of being so negative about it like I usually am. So we're going to do some fun tarot card pulls, which I never do because I am not a tarot reader. I'm not a professional tarot reader. I did learn tarot before astrology, but I've never ever have practiced it like as a professional. But I do know how to pull a card and interpret it. So that's what I'm going to be doing. It's going to be fun. We're going to be just sort of celebrating the start of the astrological new year because a lot of people are very excited to move forward, right? And so with the big shifts of Saturn moving into Pisces a few weeks ago, and now we're having Pluto going into Aquarius this week, it's going to be a whole new world, a whole new experience, a shift from Earth, right? Because we've had Pluto in an Earth sign for 20 something years, and into a air sign. So what does that mean? There's a lot of astrology going around. Like you can probably Google it right now and find at least 10 different free presentations on Pluto into Aquarius, or just astrological new years and shifts and planetary cycles and evolutionary consciousness, all of that metaphysical stuff that some astrologers are also attached to. Um, but it'll be interesting to see what the elemental shift will bring to us, because that earthiness of Capricorn is going away, and we've experienced that for decades, and now we're going to be experiencing decades of finding our way through air, and how that's going to help us change our own evolution as part of humanity. And the things that we're going to find important, the power structures that are going to be shifting, are going to be less focused on earthly structures and much more non-tangible things, right? So what does that mean in our world? We're already kind of seeing it with technology and AI coming into sort of the mainstream with like chat gpt, I think, and a lot of images that AI has been creating. It's like almost impossible sometimes to tell if it's real image or if it's an AI generated image now. And it'll be interesting to see if there may be some news this week as Pluto goes into Aquarius, and just if there's any sort of immediate shift in that area. Um, it would be very interesting if that happened on the day of the ingress, but sometimes it takes, a few days or weeks as it gets closer into, as it goes more further into Aquarius. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where their priorities are going to change, where power is going to lie. Are people going to just want to live completely in the virtual world now and not have to live in the real world, which would be a total shift from earth into air? So yeah, you can get very metaphysical about this, like how are we evolving or devolving, or how is higher consciousness evolving? So if you're into these types of questions, you know where to go. I work at a metaphysical center, Resonant Essentials, here in Albuquerque. There are a multitude of classes, multitude of teachers, readers, healers who work with these types of things. Um, and if you have questions or want to know where you are, like in your evolutionary process, then you can always ask an evolutionary astrologer or get a reading with a psychic. Yeah, so that's kind of the theme we're going to be seeing. We're shifting into this less tangible, more intellectual, maybe digital, maybe metaverse type experience of the world, instead of like our tangible world that we're living in right now, the Earth, right? We're all Earthlings, right? We're not leaving Earth at this point. Maybe some people are, but what is it? Where are our priorities? Where are we going to want to spend most of our time living and evolving? Is it going to be mostly online now? Is it going to be mostly in person? I've been thinking about this a lot just because I run a local group here, an astrology group here in Albuquerque, and we always get more people online than we do in person. I understand like the ease of the internet and like connecting on Zoom, or like we are, right, through the computer, is so convenient, and you can sit there in the safety of your own home versus actually physically connected with with a person in a group face to face. So it's very interesting to see that preference shifting. I know it's nothing new, right? Like we all went through COVID and we didn't have a choice. We had to connect online. But now that we do have a choice to come back in person, some people haven't chosen that, and it's just like people have just chosen to stay online, and yeah, I'm kind of like torn about it. So yeah, that's one of the big questions I think we're going to find with Pluto and Aquarius, and this is the week it happens. So not only does that happen, we have Aries season starting, so things are going to get faster. If the things have felt kind of like weird, like I said, it's like the nebulous period of Pisces season. Things don't feel real. You don't know if you're in winter or spring. The weather's crazy. Like then, you have snow one day, 60-degree weather the next day, flooding the next day. It's just so wild out there weather-wise that you just don't know what season you're in. And usually it's like at its peak during Pisces season. So it just makes it feel very like disoriented and weird. And yeah, March has been kind of a Piscean experience up until this point, with things feeling kind of dreamy and like confusing. But now we're hitting reality, which is Aries. Aries doesn't want to think and pontificate and dream. It wants to do. So now we've moved away from that wondering and dreaming into doing. Um, Speaking of dreaming, that's another aspect of this Pluto and Aquarius, is like, or also Pisces, Saturn into Pisces, is that crystallization of the dreams, or making dreams reality. And I'm not even talking about it in like a theoretical term, there's going to be a way that they're going to plant something in your brain so you can look at your own dreams every day. Like wake up in the morning after you've dreamed and watch a movie of it. That's going to happen, or it already is happening, I think. So I'm sorry. Um so yeah, that's where we're going. It's here. We're coming into it. It's happening starting this week. And if you're freaked out, don't worry. You're gonna have a retrograde. You have a little while to get used to it. So, Pluto is not a fast-moving planet, though it may feel a little intensified this week because it's got, like I said, that ingress of Pluto into Aquarius is gonna have that Aries backdrop. We have, the Sun in Aries, the Moon in Aries, Mercury's in Aries. We have a lot of Aries planets right now as far as like welcoming the Pluto into Aquarius. So yeah, it may be kind of a I don't know, exciting or um, a reactive environment. So there may be some big news this week. There may be some, um, I don't know, some Aries is just, you just never know. They're going to do something. You're always kind of waiting for it to happen. You know, they're going to take action on something. You just don't know what. And they usually don't care if you agree with them or not. So yeah, that there may be some like brash action happening this weekend that will support that Pluto and Aquarius shift. Um, so anyway, back to my new moon circle. If you want to join the new moon circle, I will put the link to register in the Resonant Essentials Facebook group. It's free. Definitely come by. We're going to be talking a little bit more in depth about all of this stuff. Of course, we're going to be looking at the new moon chart to see where it happens in your own chart, what type of things you want us to be starting for the next 28 days plus 12 months really, um, as we start the new astrological year. And yeah, it'll be fun to pull some tarot cards too. So please sign up if you want to come. And let's see, what did I say? Oh, I said I'm going to date myself because I'm going to be using the last unicorn deck, which my very best friend, who is a Leo, gave me last year or 2 years ago. She gave it to me a while ago, and I haven't been able to use it or show it off the way I want to because it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. And the movie came out the year I was born, where Pluto and Saturn were conjunct, and Neptune was on the galactic center. So I think it's a pretty special movie, pretty special, and it has meant a lot to nerds in my generation. So come by, check out the art. It's really beautiful. If you like the movie, comment below if you even know what the movie is. Yeah, so come by. That'd be awesome. Everyone who was at the Psychic Fair in Winslow this weekend, I think they had a wonderful time. I didn't get to go, but it looked pretty great. So very excited for all the people at Resonant Essentials who got to go. I hope you had a wonderful time and had major like fun breakthroughs with people. So yeah, what is being heralded? So the ingress charts, we're gonna look at that, I think, as well as part of the new moon circle. And yeah, what's being heralded in? What's the environment like? Is it loud? Is it soft? It's gonna be loud. It's not gonna be a quiet heralding. It's gonna be like, "Brr, here we are. Aries season is here. Pluto's here. Spring's here. Um, it's not going to be subtle. I think I feel like I say that a lot. It's not subtle. Um, yeah, Aries is loud, so it'll be a loud welcoming of that planet. Also, one big thing that's happening this week, besides, I mean, there's so much happening this week. It's such a big week that Mars is finally, after 9 months or 7 months, 7 months of being in Gemini, is finally leaving and going into Cancer. So if you're like me, you cannot wait for this to happen. It's just been a long 7 months. Wherever Gemini is in your chart, if you have been bombarded by Mars, if Mars has felt stressful and angry and I don't know, a conflict, then feel the relief finally. If you've been really motivated by Mars in Gemini, good for you, happy for you, but it's over. finally moving on to it. So don't forget, right before a planet moves into the next sign, it's at that anaretic degree of 29, which is the most stressful degree. And Mars being Mars, wanting to cause drama, wanting to, create chaos and action and violent sometimes, can be very volatile at that final degree. So just be careful. It doesn't actually, it sits at 29 degrees on the Friday the 24th. Yeah, it's sitting there for um, from about Wednesday till it ingresses on Saturday. So for the majority of this week, it's going to be at 29 degrees. So just be careful because that also will add an extra level of volatility. And yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts if you are, whoops, if you are in my Facebook group, if you are in Resonant Essentials Facebook group, if you are experiencing things this week. I will be at work on Thursday. Oh, wait, no, I won't be there because daycare is closed this week. Oh, crap. Sorry, I forgot to turn notifications off. All right, that's really it. So just beware of Mars on the energetic degree. Welcome and experience and understand that Pluto is here. Pluto is in Aquarius this week, and of course we have that new moon, which kind of kicks off everything. It's a whole new world, really, considering all the stuff that's shifting this week. So I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope that you stay safe. I hope if you have some major aha moments or feel majorly motivated, then let me know. And love to hear your experiences. And I will see you next week. Hopefully, I'll see you at the New Moon Circle. So, bye. Have a good one.